Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, it's your brother here, Ezra Ben Khazar. Let's get it in. In this video, I want to talk to you guys again about DNA. So, in my last video, we talked about Arthur Koestler's book and how he was a Hungarian Jew. And how because of his Hungarian Jewish connection, he connected his heritage back to Khazars. And not only his, but kinfolk of his. And he's mostly speaking of Hungarian Jews. So in the comment section, I had a great discussion with a viewer about DNA and seeing how this is what this channel was made based off of my DNA results and my DNA journey. I feel like now it's time to share those things with you guys. As we go into our future videos, I want to touch more on Khazarian DNA and the people groups. So let's start. First, if you see in the comments here, I broke down my autosomal. Now this is my autosomal results at a basic level, but I break them down on my other channel where I speak mainly on African Israelite stuff, and I have music there as well. But on this channel, it's mainly about the paternal groups, which I found out what my paternal haplogroup was. So, in this video, we will discuss the paternal haplogroup. All right. So the DNA test, the service that I went with was Living DNA. And they said that my paternal haplogroup is RZ280. So I'm going to show you guys some pictures and some images so y'all can follow along with me. But I'm going to read some of the introduction, and then we'll go into some of what I want to share about this haplogroup. It says, an ancient branch of the R1a father line. Your father line signature belongs to the RM198 group. RM198, also known as R1a1a or RM512, is a branch of the larger R1a father line, a haplogroup that is found across Europe and West Asia. R1a is found in particular high concentrations, in Eastern Europe, approaching 60% in Poland, for example. R1a is thought to have branched off from another father line, R1, shortly after the last glacial maximum, the coldest era of the last ice age, approximately 26,500 years ago. This probably occurred somewhere in the Eurasian steppe-land, quite possibly in Siberia or Central Asia. That sentence right there is going to become of importance because I feel like through my research, I've seen that the haplogroup R1a Z280 is a Finno-Ugric type of haplogroup / Turkic / Slavic. But we're going to get into all of those things. R1a is thought to have been one of the predominant father lines in the early Bronze Age Proto-Indo-Europeans that lived around modern-day Ukraine and migrated outwards as far west as Spain and as far east as India. Okay. We know this because we can now test the DNA found in bodies and archaeological sites, even from thousands of years ago. Ancient DNA testing has confirmed the presence of haplogroup R1a1a in samples from the corded ware culture in Germany from 2600 BC, from Tokharian mummies in 2000 BC in northwest China, from Kurgan burials in 1600 BC, from the Andronovo culture in southern Russia and southern Siberia, as well as from a variety of Iron Age sites from Russia, Siberia, Mongolia, and Central Asia. So I'm gonna stop there, but as you see in the map here, we migrated through Arabia with the F lineage, which we through the model that I believe in, that would be the Japhetic lineages. split off into K, into P, into R in Central Asia, Siberia into R1a and Aquatic World culture. So let's continue on. On this website, Family Tree DNA, it tells you breakdowns of different haplogroups. So I put RZ280 in there, and it talks about how the paternal line was formed. It branched off from the ancestor RZ282 and the rest of mankind around 2700 BCE. Okay, and it has 8 descendant lineages. And I know most of these are rare. The 2 that are mainly around is our CTS1 to 11 and our Z92. So let's go down into the table view. As you see in the map, you see the areas where it's commonly found. And in the table view, if we look at the list of countries, this is where I came to my conclusion that it's like a Finno-Ugric / Turkic / Slavic haplogroup. As we see the number one country on here with 3 tested descendants at a haplogroup frequency of 60% is the Republic of Chuvashia. So what is Chuvashia and who are the Chuvash people? Chuvashia is a republic in Russia, located in Eastern Europe. It is the homeland of the Chuvash people, a Turkic ethnic group. Its capital is the city of Cheboksary. Excuse me, y'all, if I butcher the name. As of the 2010 census, its population was 1,200,000. You don't really need to know that population. But let's go to the history. The ancestors of the Chuvash were Bulgars and Suars, Turkic tribes residing in the northern Caucasus in the 5th to 8th centuries. In the 7th and 8th centuries, a part of the Bulgars left for the Balkans, where together with local Slavs, they established the state of modern Bulgaria. Another part moved to the Middle Volga region, where the Bulgar population that did not adopt Islam formed the population, or the foundation, of the Chuvash people. Those who know from my other Khazaria videos, Volga was a state attached to the Khazarian kingdom, the Khazarian Khanate. So those who didn't become Islam, they probably stayed either their traditional religions or perhaps they were Jews. And we also seen some of that, but we'll get into that. During the Mongol invasion of Volga Bulgaria, the steppe-dwelling Suar migrated north, where Volga Finnic tribes such as the Mordvins and the Mari lived. The Chuvash claimed to be descendants of these Suars, who assimilated with the Mari. In 1242, they became vassals of the Golden Horde. Later, Mongol and Tartar rulers did not intervene in local affairs, internal affairs, as long as tribute was paid annually to Sarai. When the power of the Golden Horde began to diminish, local Misar Tartar Murzas from Piana and Timnikov, tried to govern the Chuvash area. Okay, so we'll skip down a little bit. But as you see, they come from a people called, Suvars. Yeah, Suars. So when you look at this people up, it goes to Sabir people. So let's go to the history of the Sabir people. It says, in 463 AD, Priscus mentions that the Sabirs attacked the Saragurs and the Ongurs and the Onogurs as a result of having themselves been attacked by the Avars. It has been suggested that the nomadic motion began with the Chinese attack in 450 to 458 against the Roran Khaganate. All right, so let's continue down. All these people, most of those names that we just named, all those Rs, those Saragars, Ogars, Onogars, Avars, all of those people are related. They're sons of Togarma, and the Khazar king had described this. But let's continue down and read more about this people group, the Sabirs. It says, they were assimilated into the Khazars and Bulgar confederations. We just read about that. The tribe Suwaz in Bulgaria is related to the city Suwar in the same state, and northern Caucasian kingdom Suwar. However, it's uncertain whether these Suwar, Sawar, and the Sabirs, who gone to the North Caucasus and after 558 retreated to the Volga, came there as a result of the Khazar state creation, or were tribes who never went to the North Caucasus but stopped on the Volga. Ahmad ibn Fa'lan recorded that in the 10th century, they still had own leader with the title Vurik, and there were some Suwar-Bulgar hostilities. There's no reliable information supporting the view of Mikhail Artamanov, who is regarded as the father of Khazarian history. He discovered the site of Sarkel, who has claimed the intermixing of the Sabirs and Khazars has facilitated by their common Bulgar ethnicity, or that they were Turkicized Ugrics. That's that Finno-Ugric. Carol, I don't even want to butcher your name, considered that the Khazar state was composed of 3 basic groups, including the Sabirs. Dieter Ludwig suggested that the Khazars were Sabirs who had formed an alliance with the Ur of the Khwarizm. The intimate ties between the Hungarians and the Sabirs led Lev Gumilev to speculate that rather than Ugric, they may have been Ugric speakers. Al-Barundi remarked that the language of the Volga Bulgars and the Savars was compounded of Turkic and Khazar, while modern scholars like Eula Nemath, Lajos, Ligeti, and Peter Benjamin Golden consider that the Sabirs spoke standard Turkic rather than Ugric Turkic. So it's this thing going on where their language seems to be Turkic, but it seems to be different. One of the Arabs from back in the day who seen them said that it was a mixture of Turkic and Khazar, making it seem similar to what we see with the Hungarian language, where it's Turkic mixed with what they call Finno-Ugric. And as we see with the Chuvash language, it is a Turkic language, but the family that is a part of, which is called Ugric, most of these languages are disputed or not even spoken anymore. But it's the same language that we would see Khazar and Sabir and Bulgar, Hunnic and Avar, the Togarmar family. So this is something interesting to see, and that's the first place on this list. After this, we have Italy, a place in Italy, and this specific region was part of the Hungarian territories, but it also has relation to the Slavic people, and I want to talk about them real quick. One of the first political unions of Slavic tribes was called Samo's Empire. Now, Samo, he was a child of, as we look at the records, he was a child of the Huns, a child of Avars, which could explain why Slavic people have R1a today, that they are sons of nomadic tribes, Scythians, Sarmatians. I believe even the Polish people have said that they were Sarmatians. Now, I know there's a whole political thing about this. I'm coming from a neutral standpoint. I'm an African American. I have no stake in the game. I just found out that I'm R1a. I'm like, wow, what is this? But they seem to come from Avars. Let's read the testimony. It says, each year, the Huns or the Avars came to the Slavs to spend the winter with them. Then they took the wives and daughters of the Slavs and slept with them, and among other mistreatments already mentioned, the Slavs were also forced to pay levies to the Huns. But the sons of the Huns, who were then raised with the wives and daughters of these Vens, Slavs, could not finally endure this oppression anymore and refused obedience to the Huns and began, as already mentioned, a rebellion. When now the Windish army went against the Huns, the aforementioned merchant Samo accompanied the same. And so the Samo's bravery proved itself in wonderful ways, and a huge mass of Huns fell to the sword of the Vens. So I think the original Slavs were Sarmatians and Scythians mixing with Baltic people and Germanic people. The Slavic language, and this is my hypothesis, the Slavic language was a way for these people to communicate within each other. They mixed and became a community. These would be those groups. And then when the R1as came in, they assimilated these people, and some of them spoke Slavic languages, and they became Slavs. When you spoke the language, you joined the culture. So that's the third, and then I'm going to talk about this last one, and then I'll just show you the rest of them, because I don't want the video to be super long, but we'll make a part 2 and go into some deeper things. But last, we're going to talk about Moldova. So in the Republic of Moldova, it is a republic of Russia located in Eastern Europe, and its capital is the city of Saranskis. And you see where it's at, very close to Chubassia. It says the earliest archaeological signs of modern humans in the area of Moldova are from the Neolithic era. Moldovans are mentioned in written sources from the 6th century. Later, Mordvins were under the influence of both Volga Bulgaria and the Kievan Rus. Mordovan princes sometimes raided Roma and Volga Bulgaria and often despoiled each other's holdings. So that's a basic outline. But what are the Mordvins? Mordvins is the official term used by the Russian Federation to refer to two ethnic groups, Erzas and Mokshas. Now I want to look at the Mokshas for a second here. It says the Mokshas comprise a Moravidian ethnic group belonging to the Volgaic branch of the Finno-Ugric people. They live in the Russian Federation, mostly near the Volga River and the Moksha River, a tributary of the Oka River. Now from there, I want to take you to a people group that was a part of the Khazar Federation, as we see, called the Burtas. It says the Burtas were a tribe of uncertain ethno-linguistic affiliation, inhabiting the steppe region north of the Caspian Sea in medieval times. They were subject to the Khazars. The Burtazes had converted to Judaism in Khazar times and still practiced the Jewish faith in the 13th century. Quote, the Burtaches, who are said to be Jews, shaving their heads all over, by Plano Carpini. They took part in a great Mongol-Russian battle in 1380 on the side of the Mongols. In the 1380s or earlier, at least part of them settled in Temnikol Principality. The Tatar-speaking Burtashi ethnic group is sometimes mentioned in forms. But let's go to the ethnic identity. Ethnic identity of Burtas is disputed, with several different theories ranging from them being Uralic, tribal, confederacy, probably later assimilated to Turkic language, and therefore perhaps the ancestors of the modern Moksha people. And that's where we'll end this one off for today, talking about those top three groups. I'll make a part 2 and go into some more. I know this can be pretty dense, but this is the haplogroup that I found out myself to be, and this is the paternal lineage, which as a Hebrew Israelite is pretty important because we look at, one of the classic Hebrew Israelite doctrines is you are what your father is. So when I found out that this was my group, I went deep and I went in. But shout out to everybody who stayed through the video, who's taking their time out to listen to just my ramblings. And stay blessed up, you guys, and keep learning, keep seeking, and keep growing and building and being at peace with your neighbors. May you have blessings in the Most High through the Mashiach, through the Messiah, and be blessed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Shalom.